Major League Baseball, in terms of a marketing perspective, trying to target kids, trying to bring people to the game, trying to just get eyeballs on the sport, they need Shohei Ohtani in 2021 more than they need Mike Trout. If you attach value to commercialization, if you attach value to just bringing eyeballs in, forget just on the field for a second, but everything else surrounding that, bring fans to the ballpark, bring fans to watch games more. Marketing, getting people to talk about it. To me, Ohtani is even more valuable than Mike Trout, and he might be, I'll take it back. I think he is the most valuable player in baseball this year in terms of marketing for Major League Baseball, and that's Shohei Ohtani. Because why? In this world, right, in the world we live in, first of all, we can't escape, as you know. Cell phone in the pocket. We're always on Twitter. We're always on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All the news is always getting to us the second it happens. So what does that mean? Well, really, that means rarely do we miss anything, right? Anything that happens all over the world, whether it's good, whether it's bad, sports-related, politics, news, entertainment, you name it, we have access to it on the tips of our fingers. And honestly, if it's an upset when we don't find out about it the first 10 minutes it happens, whatever it is, right? News travels in the blink of an eye. We rarely miss anything. So what does that mean then? Well, it means that there's not much that goes on in the world that we really haven't seen before. We see everything. So now we don't have to rely on just what happens with our eyes in front of us, right? Whether it's going to work, going wherever you live, some things you see more than others. But now it doesn't matter where you live, what you like, whatever. You now have access to everything that goes on. And again, with smartphones and the internet now, you see everything. Good, bad, whether you want to see it or not, you end up seeing everything. So that means we rarely now see things that we haven't seen before. And that is like the rare commodity, right? That is now forcing originality to kind of be one of the greatest currencies, if you will, in terms of eyeballs, in terms of clicks, is originality. Right? Because we've seen everything before. We don't want to see repeats. We don't want to see the same thing over and over again. We want to see fresh. We want to see new. And that's what Shohei Ohtani is. Not new because he's a breakout star. New because he is doing something on a baseball diamond that we haven't seen since Babe Ruth. Now, last time I checked, not many people that have seen Babe Ruth now are also alive to see Shohei Ohtani. I certainly was not alive to see Babe Ruth, obviously. Not many people listening to the show, if anyone, honestly, was alive to see Babe Ruth. So we haven't really seen many pitchers, but also hit in the same games and do things both very well before. So that's why, to me, Ohtani is the most valuable in terms of, if you're talking about baseball, trying to get eyeballs on your sport, trying to get relevancy in your sport, trying to people talk about the game of baseball. Because that's another thing, too. I try to gear this show, for the most part, despite the fact that I'm based here on Long Island in New York, I try to make it a national show. So whatever is going on in the sports world, whether it's in California, New York, Florida, Miami, Wisconsin, I try to make that relevant to you, the listener, and try to bring it up here and talk about it in some way or fashion. Baseball, unfortunately, is one of those sports where there's not much that goes on that we talk about. It's a very regionalized sport. You like your team. Nationally, you don't really care about what happens elsewhere. So if you're a Mets fan, you're not really going to care about the Royals. There's not much baseball-wise that we talk about. That we're not breaking down games from last night. Ohtani can change that, though, because we haven't seen this before. And this is no disrespect to Mike Trout, but this is especially when you talk about baseball, we talk about Mike Trout being the best player in baseball. Ohtani is even more valuable when it comes to marketing right now than Trout, because we have seen Mike Trout before. Which is also crazy. I didn't even realize this. This is his 11th year in the league. 11th. He's won 3 MVPs. We know he does everything extremely well. There is no holes in Mike Trout's game. But at the same time, because we've seen it before, it takes more and more and more to be in awe of Mike Trout, to talk about Mike Trout. Oh, you see the game? He had 3 home runs last night? Yeah, we've seen that before. He's the best player in baseball. Yeah, we know that. What else is new? We haven't seen a pitcher and a hitter dominate at the same time in the same game. I understand, kind of ran out of gas in the 5th inning. Things got away from him. But seeing Ohtani light up the radar gun, look dominant early on from the mound, crush home runs, that is what is going to get people talking. And that's why it's imperative for Major League Baseball to do whatever they can. Keep this guy healthy.